that they've got a lot of these up-and-coming talented players who aren't very well known, but they're starting to make a name for themselves here. One of them, at least, Newbie Young, had a pretty good showing in the early moments of the group stage. So with that, we get underway. It is game number 1 of a best-of-3 winner. Will be able to move into the semifinals of the winner bracket. So looking at the draft, Ben, we had a lot of self-congratulations on the panel, but they didn't really assess the drafts. Do you think either team is a better one here?
I like LGD's a little bit more. They don't really have that much synergy with the Visage. They have had a lot of success with it, but a lot of the times we've seen Visage own is when they have amplified damage, just buffing up the damage of the birds. And Phantom Lancer is generally a little bit too slow for this particular style. After the recent nerfs, he just hasn't been as strong.
It does speak to something that was brought up on the panel, which is that CDEC, a bit of a limited hero pool in terms.
Yeah, I'm with the two gentlemen on this. I think the Lancer, again, trails back to CDEC always picking what is within their comfort zone. Anti-Mate seems to be the clear-cut option here, like by far the best carry pick that they could have hoped for. The only real thing they had against it was a Rubik, and they still opt for the Phantom Lancer just because Aggressive hasn't played any games of Anti-Mate.
All right, so far we're ready to go back, so let's rejoin your commentary team now. It's all yours.
Thank you very much, Paul. We're back. We're live. It's LGD versus CDEC, game 1 in the best of 3. The teams back off, and in the Radiant jungle, there have been some wards planted down, an Observer as well as a Sentry, all to deny this early pole camp action. And it looks like the first Sentry planted by Q is going to be a whiff, Ben. So Visage may be struggling for his levels.
Where'd he give his other one to?
What's that?
Where's his other Sentry?
Let's see. I'm not actually seeing it right now. It might have been dewarded.
Wow, that's not actually good for Visage at all, especially with them having 2 heroes down here in the early game. They really want to make sure that ROTK...
You know what, I think it might have been on the courier, because Garter's got one.
Okay.
So he is going to initiate here, charging towards the bottom lane. Seems like they really want to stop ROTK from getting that quick level 2. Coming in hot and heavy. ROTK.
He's already skilled Arc.
No surge yet. DDC doesn't have the easy save here. They have a mango for an extra lance if they really want to commit for this. They don't even need it. There's the soul assumption, and CDEC get on the board. Nice and early. 1-0 the score. Great movement there. And this is what you want to do against the Darkseer. Don't let him get that easy level 2.
It might have been better to hold the skill point out on the Winter Wyvern. I think Cold Embrace, he has like a chance of living, maybe even Splinter Shards, but Arctic Burn it's very difficult to stop the charge coming out from the Spirit Breaker, and ROTK is going to continue to struggle. But luckily, they aren't allowed to pull in that lane, so let's say he goes off to the jungle, they can't come out hugely ahead in the economic gain.
So looking at some of our other matchups, we may see a true 1v1 here early on, with Shiki playing the Queen of Pain, as mentioned by the panel. Definitely one of his most comfortable heroes, maybe on that very high-octane playmaking mid, the Wind Ranger. Early on, pretty even start here as both players just focus on the harass and those early last hits. Do want to point out up in the Dire jungle that LGD have also missed on a D-ward of their own, so there's great vision here right now for Xi on the Shaker. It is also going to scout Momoya's rotation over towards mid, as we see DDC off in the woods. Looks like he wants to do a bit of stacking. Definitely something LGD can take advantage of. They've got very good jungle clear ability.
So let's see if they're able to deward that Dire ward. I think it's really gonna hurt them unless they get lots of kills on ROTK.
Well, he is still level 1 though, so not easy for him to get away from a potential gank.
As long as he keeps all 3 of them down here, though, that's pretty good because they can't stack and pull for the Queen of Pain. And on top of that, both LGD supports are stacking for the Darkseer, so he can catch back up. Looks like ROTK's already headed back there.
Yeah, he's heading off for this bottom lane. Feels like he's done his job, and they will at long last find the first ward, but that's only the Sentry, which was expiring soon. Still the Observer, not scouted. They'll probably recognize this in relatively short order. In fact, going to resort to farming the media camp is Gyrocopter just free farming away in the top lane. Already 14 and 12. Your Phantom Lancer struggling a bit more aggressive, having the last hit under tower to the Iron Shell at times. Only 10 and 8, but still having an okay go of it. And, well, over to the mid lane where maybe, as we often see, Ben, is able to get the early advantage.
Yep, he has his bottle way earlier than Shiki. Shiki's actually kind of low, but they don't really have the...
Trying to bait here. They've got the charge coming in. Rotation from behind. XZ wants to help him out. Shiki, he gets a lot more help than a lot of other mids, and this might be enough. No, they don't get a bash, and now XZ's in danger. Shackle coming through. Won't actually latch, but they look for pursuit. They've got bottle charges available here. Maybe not quite enough, it seems. Even MMY rotating. 6 heroes into that mid lane in the end, but no kills.
Oh, Shiki was really close to dying right there. If he even got hit by like a non-charged power shot, he would have died.
Oh, I bet he'd like an upgraded courier. 3.5 minutes in, it's still in pedestrian mode. The supports are not wanting to purchase one just yet.
And Tyler really has evolved his play, and I think all the Chinese carries saw CDEC and their success, and they're like, okay, we got to play like aggressive. This, just AFK farming for 20-25 minutes just does not stand anymore.
It wasn't even just the Chinese teams. To add to your point, it was a lot of the Western teams really started to adopt that style as well.
Yeah, so no like super early HOD and stacking. It's all about the same, so you survive, so you can fight more, sometimes even the drums.
Yeah, I mean, once in a while you'd see him get like BOTs on PL, but that was only if he's already having a really good time of it, and he'd still come to fights. And if not, then often we'd see that treads into Aquila, the drums even, for that extra bit of survivability in the early engagements.
It might be hard for him to keep up with aggressive farm though, because aggressive is shaping up to be maybe an early BOT rush. ROTK still kind of struggling to get leveled in this bottom lane, and if he commits for fighting items and CDEC is able to, just kind of dodge with the Phantom Lancer and have him BOT in a fight and not die, then aggressive will be way ahead of this gyrocopter.
Man, the impact of these early wards, Ben, there's been very little successful jungling from CDEC. They managed to farm this camp a couple of times, and at the same time, LGD, they've tried to make a couple of moves top lane onto the Earthshaker, but also foiled by the ward. Those wards have played a huge role here in the laning stage.
Yeah, they missed with the second sentry on Q, so no pull for Visage. That's, you want your Visage to be 6 as soon as possible, and it's just going to be, post 10 minutes this game.
Looking to make the jump on maybe, perhaps. They do bring the Spirit Breaker towards that mid lane. He's posted up fairly far, but they're going to need the +1. Xe, rotating in, looks like he just poked his head out into dire Observer Ward range.
It's really risky. If Rubik's there and there is like a small blind spot to the north of maybe, which is exactly where the supports are, and he gets lifted into the right side, he is just dead.
Well, they are going to go for the charge, but it's not the way you might think. They're going bottom, and ROTK has no vision of this. No teleport scroll either, so he's not going to have an easy way out. He does have the surge available, but the charge continues. How far do they want to go? They're going to commit for it. Looking for that bash. They get it. Still not enough. Aggressive looks for the lance, but he gets fogged. He can't finish the kill. The TP got canceled. I think they were just expecting he was already dead, but in fact, ROTK, living that charmed life, will back off, salve up, and ship shape once more.
It was a nice maneuver by ROTK. He sidestepped a little bit to the right, so aggressive got fogged.
And a lot of jungle stacking here for both teams now, Ben. Seems like it's going to be a very economy-focused mid-game as we hit that 6-minute mark. Nobody really looking for those aggressive early ganks, at least not yet. Gyro has hit level 6. The Darkseer about to get his level 3 Ion Shell, and over for CDEC, Shiki. Still need a level 2 Scream. He actually opted for the second point in Shadow Strike. We saw earlier Sumail just taking the 1 point, focusing more on his ability to fight those larger scale engagements, clear the stacks, but Shiki wanted the lane dominance. Unfortunately, has not gotten it. Still a bit behind in terms of CS.
ROTK is doing a very good job of keeping the Visage occupied though, but finally the Observer Ward has despawned and maybe they'll be able to start pulling come 7 minutes, and Q still desperately hurting for experience with just 1 kill on ROTK. But here we see a smoke maneuver.
I think CDEC are feeling like they're not getting enough out of this laning stage. They want to break it down now. Almost level 7 here, Cheeky making their move on the top lane. This is a very dangerous dive. If Sylar sees it coming, he's going to back off. There's the charge, the fall fissure as well, but they don't have to follow. Big Carter is the sacrifice on the altar of Sylar, and they might. Oh, Cheeky, lucky that he didn't get caught by that shackle. He will survive. Did not work out the way they planned.
The Fissure placed him on. He wanted to block him off to the left so that Queen of Pain can scream and Sonic Wave and right click with the DD and then blink out because of the TPs. But Shiki saw that the Fissure was on the wrong side, and he had to blink across the Fissure in order to connect with that kill, which would leave him vulnerable to the TPs. So.
And quite likely he just dies as well when the cooldown gets dropped there. So I think the right play to back off.
I'm surprised they had vision of him to charge. He was kind of hugging the tree line, and with that ward out in mid from maybe, it's very obvious as to when Queen of Pain is going to be leaving the lane.
Yeah, I think that mid ward is probably what did them in. Not even necessarily seeing the charge, but just knowing that Queen of Pain's been off the lane for a while. They are going to find an opening here, though. Maybe he's trapped on the side of the Fissure. He does manage to win run back. DDC dropping fairly low. There's the charge. Shackle not going to connect, and now they jump on to maybe Quaffle over the top. Maybe will go down. So they look for more. They turn with the call down though. Sylar has arrived, a complete airball from the carry player here of LGD. The Fissure comes in, trapping Sylar on the wrong side of it. The team can't back him up too easily. Almost gets bashed over, and in fact, Shiki jumps in. The rocket barrage and barely survives. 30 HP, and away he goes. What a miraculous fight. CDEC just so good in these early skirmishes. Well, they were not even slightly disgruntled by that first kill top. They just go right back to the well. Now this time, it's a big win.
Wow, excellent play by Xe right there. That was the perfectly placed Fissure right there to split Gyro off from the rest of his team. I'm a little surprised he didn't take the rune. Maybe actually was able to snag up the bounty, but at the end of the day, that pulled LGD into a poor position.
So Q now is going to grab his energy booster. Looks like he does already have the arcane boots completed. This will definitely be of use for XC, who's not gotten a whole lot of farm there on the Earthshaker. Shiki also will take a bit of a benefit. Curious to see what the build will be for the Visage this game. Oftentimes Q doesn't really go for that early Ags. He does quite often favor like either a Solar Crest or even sometimes getting the mech for the team. So maybe the way he goes this time as well.
I think Medallion's pretty good because they don't have a good counter to Winter's Curse, and you really want that target to be able to survive this
charge. Top Garter actually canceled it, but the cooldown had already been used. Could have been an opportunity to go for the kill there on the Rubik. As Aggressive will engage on RTK bottom, but tanks the Lance, surges away. So both teams fainting back and forth, but still nobody really contesting the actual jungles where the stacking has been going on non-stop. They did manage to clear out one of the big stacks in the LGD woods as well as the medium camp.
Well, they need a charge to start the fights, and they don't have any vision into the jungle. So with that, they actually don't know where Winter Wyvern is ever because he's generally just stacking and checking runes. There's maybe at least two missing.
In trouble here. Shackle will interrupt the charge. There's no Nether Strike yet, but they still want to die for this. This is a pretty hefty commitment, especially with no Sonic Wave. And after baiting out the rotation, CDEC at the perfect moment. Just back off and we'll retreat. So forcing out the 4-hero rotation. And all the while, Aggressive still farming bottom. Pretty good map control here in terms of the way CDEC are moving. Treads are the choice for Aggressive though, so maybe he was considering the BOTs, but he goes for the combat build. Definitely as tanky as possible and looking to be a little more durable in these fights.
Yeah, CDEC are really looking for opportunities to kill, but just with the supports constantly floating in the dire jungle, it's really hard for them. I like to see them get an aggressive Observer Ward down next to the Roshan Pit and try and, you know, gank ROTK and then take that tower out and see how many supports are out there. But instead, I mean, they don't really have the best heroes to take out stacks.
I think right they're waiting for the level 6 on Q. It's been pretty slow coming thanks to the camp being blocked and all the failed D wards that you pointed out, but he's about to get it. And with the familiars, then they can take the tower more easily.
Yeah, it's a good time, but they'll be level 6 pretty soon on Rubik and Winter Wyvern as well.
And that's the scary thing, is LGD are so good at defending once they get their levels up. And already RTK, he's managed at level 7, despite hardly entering the lane. Maybe he's got the max power shot. DDC, the level 2, soon level 3 Splinter Blast, and they've got call down. So
yeah, they're really good at defending in the traditional sense, though, with, you know, power shot coming out and Winter Wyvern Splinter Shards to clear out the creep wave. But what CDEC are banking on is a really chaotic fight. Is like, you know, Vintage Familiars coming around from behind, Charge coming around from one direction, and they just swoop in with a Fissure to split off the team, and that's the fight that they're looking for. So they shouldn't be pushing in, you know, the traditional, hey, let's group up as 5 with a mech, and, you know, they want to take them by storm and just catch them out when they're 2, and by the time they TP in, they're already dead because there's people coming in from all sides.
Well, the second they get level 6 on Q, away they go. Literally just clipped it with only 25 experience to spare, and now the whole squad moves top. Shiki is scouted here, but do they fully know what's coming Sylar's way? The charge goes in. Fissure not going to be on the mark, but they still get off at least that initial stun from Garter. The calldown's dropped, and CDEC say, just kidding, we want to get the hell out, but there's the Jackal. It's on to 2. The prop hole coming through from the side from Shiki. Not enough damage to get the kill just yet. RTK with the mech, able to turn that one around, combined with the calldown, and if they'd hit that Fissure, could have been a different story.
MMY's been in a really good position and really good at anticipating where the Rubik's going to, or where the Spirit Breaker's going to be. He was able to stop that charge, and a lot of damage coming out, a lot of ultimates coming out, and that's even without the Winter's Curse. I think if Winter's Curse comes out there, a hero gets shackled right after that, and that's 3 heroes dead for CDEC. So they have to be extremely careful. They're kind of charging without vision. They don't have vision behind this tower and into the dire jungle.
I feel like it just comes back to the slow leveling on the Visage. I feel they wanted to make that play at like 10 minutes, not 12 to 13. But unfortunately, the timing wasn't quite right now. We'll see a charge towards bottom from Garter. It's Sylar he would have to engage into, though. That is not an easy target to take down, and instead they're going to opt to fall back to a farming kind of holding pattern here. But how do you feel the teams are going to match up if this is just a static game? Do you think CDEC can hold their own against LGD?
I think LGD's team fight is much, much stronger, and without aggressive going for a super greedy build, I think that LGD should pull ahead in the mid game if they keep executing like they do.
Here comes the smoke. LGD heading towards bottom. They want to get a deep ward out. The ping was used just now as they swing towards the Radiant safe lane, planting the ward in the jungle. Carter just trying to get that level 6. He's also close, but feeling a bit underleveled there on the Spear Breaker.
Both teams just trying to look for a smoke gank into 1 or 2 kills into a tower, but neither team really giving any quarter in that regard, and kind of reading the game right. Mid lane is just people going to be farming. There's good wave clear on both sides, so that's not really the lane that they're looking for. They want to take over control of their jungle so they can come out ahead in economy, because both teams' late game potency is relatively even at this point.
LGD, they feel like they have the strength to just bull rush a tower, so they're going to reveal 4 heroes here bottom. And while that's going on, DDC, a Fissure was thrown out towards the creep wave, but he's going to TP away, so nobody getting caught. In the meantime, CDEC are working on that mid tower, but their push isn't all that fast without the familiars in position. And so the tower bottom will fall. Glyphs get expended. Blink now up on the Wind Ranger. LGD going for those early combat items, and it's the Radiant's turn to get their own aggressive ward up.
They've already used and chopped down this entire jungle though 5 times over with the amount of stacks that they've already cleared out. So
it feels like they got their money's worth already.
It's a little late for when you want the Observer Ward, but as you said, they really didn't have the opportunity to earlier. Maybe just lacking the firepower without the Visage Familiars. And LGD going for a big play here.
The Pirate Gyro trailing after maybe. Now has the blink for the big playmaking initiation.
And the mech on ROTK.
Yeah. Had that for some time, actually. Had it in the top tower fight. And again, it could come into huge opportunity if they get the good team fight they're looking for. Also, Vacuum's still only level 1 here, so that is the one thing they're lacking for the reliable team fight, and perhaps that's why they were waiting for the maybe blink. They might find their jump here momentarily. XZ just out of vision. Instead, they'll reveal Sylar, but you see the Gyro running by the tower like this, and you just know he is not alone.
So CDEC actually didn't get that much out of that entire last couple of minutes. They lost their bottom tower. They probably could have committed to the T1 tower had they known LGD's position, but they didn't decide to bait out the TPs, and instead it looks like LGD will actually get the tower because of CDEC's hesitancy.
Now they try to stall here with the familiars as well as the fissure, but it's not going to be enough as the tower gets pounded and quickly brought down, as well as both of the familiars, it looks like.
If it continues at this rate, LGD are just going to take control of the Dire jungle and, do their Ancients and the Dire do Ancients and Roshan at their will. So it's not really shaping up to be that good for CDC at all.
It seems like they just don't really feel confidence in their ability to fight, and why would you against this massive combo that LGD have? Maybe they look for the pickoff, but with the wards that LGD have, the vision, if you check it out, they see almost everything. Good ward in each lane or near each lane to prevent any sort of sneaky rotations. So now they back off to the jungle. Slow and steady will do it. And they have still yet to give up too much map control. Yeah, they lost the tower top, but it hasn't stopped them from farming this lane.
See smoke on either support on both sides, and just looking for that one smoke gank to kind of open this game up for each of these teams.
Yeah, you check the smoke and they're running out. That is a limited resource, and both teams have expended a lot of it early on trying to get that critical game-changing fight. No success thus far.
But CDEC will keep pressing on for that. That's generally just how they play. It's like, okay, it's going to be even, and then they're just going to keep smoking until they take one big team fight, and then after that they keep the train rolling. And LGD have been doing a really good job of having sufficient numbers to strengthen and bolster where their weak spots are.
Yeah, they're just hugging each other. Very, very rarely are LGD off on their own, and even if they are, there's normally a tower nearby or a ward, so they know it's safe.
But they drafted and anticipated for this. It was the very first pick, Spirit Breaker.
Right.
So you know what kind of game you're already set for just from that pick alone.
And going back to the draft, that's why I love the LGD grab of the Darkseer, because you have the Spirit Breaker and the Darkseer, then getting Tower Nova is a lot scarier. But they took it away. They denied the combo that CDEC do run quite a bit of. They also get RTK, one of, I think that probably his most comfortable hero right now that actually is reliable in this meta, whereas the Clockwork they will draft a lot, but you know, we've seen plenty of those games where Clock just doesn't really fit. But this Darkseer always brings a lot to the table.
Both teams are very hesitant of going too greedily, though. We see smoke coming out from LGD, but maybe going for like the Blink first as opposed to a Scepter or a Maelstrom. We see Gyrocopter with SNY instead of, let's say, an HOD. Same with the Phantom Lancer going with the Treads instead of the BOTs. Like, no one wants to commit.
Queen of Pain with a BKB.
Yeah.
There's the Blink, though. They jump onto Shiki here. Winter's Curse deployed as well. There's the charge from Garter. Trying to burst him down. Shiki never gets it off. And will drop off the bat now. The Blink being stolen here by the Rubik Fissure. Coming through to try and slow down RTK, but there's the pursuit of Kuyo Shackle! Maybe does it again, and then the follow-up coming in as Sylar charges forward, gets off the cooldown, secures the third kill. It all began with Maybe, and it ends with 3 CDEC heroes hitting the deck.
That was a really nice chainstun, though. They even had some disables to keep the Wind Ranger from immediately killing the Queen of Pain, but after that they had the Lift and the Winter's Curse and then the Vacuum just for that tiny bit of disable time so that they could just burst her down before the BKB. And, you know, when you lose a big team fight like that after picking up a BKB first and committing to all these early game items, it's not shaping up well.
Well, for LGD it certainly is now. They'll take them tower. Maybe. Well on his way to that Aghanim Scepter as the Familiars push out the bottom lane. Wave will get power shotted here, and they're also going to look to push out top with Momoya as well as DDC there. So they get the lane control back their way after pressuring down mid. And it does feel like maybe they'll look towards the Rosh relatively soon with the map control beginning to tilt their direction.
So they need to be able to eliminate these supports very early on in the fight. Like a Winter's Curse is so disruptive to the flow of the team fight for CDEC that they're just unwilling to do so. So that means they need like a charge from the Fog or ideally a Blink on the Shaker. So that's probably next what they were waiting for. But everything's just come out too slow for them, losing their jungle control from the start and delaying Visage's level 6. So the smokes came out late. Like everything just keeps on getting delayed and delayed.
And it's just not a CDEC tempo. It's very passive, reactionary. This is a team that wants to be in your face and your side of the map, diving you at the tower, taking early objectives, playing from a lead, and more so than a lot of other teams who are comfortable in that split push game and the slower pace. That's just not the CDEC way. But they're forced into it now.
Yeah, it seems like they didn't really get enough out of the bottom lane, though. Like even aside from the pull, they weren't able to kill ROTK that one time. They have an early Aquila on the Phantom Lancer, but that T1 tower is still relatively healthy, and they're just giving up so many objectives around the map right now.
Still yet to even grab the tier 1 mid, and there is a glyph available. Aggressive will finally complete his Diffusal Blade, so it's a pretty big item. But LGD, the ones taking the bigger objectives. Tier 2 now down bottom lane, and that really opens up the way towards a potential Roshan. Looks like they want to clear out top first. Garter might get caught out here momentarily. Maybe he's looking for the initiation. Blinks, and Shackles latches him to his own catapult. What a terrible way to go. And down, Garter will fall. So again, LGD finding the pickoffs, not really giving anything up, just clean and very surgical here.
They also just have better observer wards. They saw him farming out alone. It's like, okay, let's TP over there and get a kill. CDEC just had that observer ward in the dire jungle. It just expired, but even if they see anyone with a charge, it's not like they can realistically get over there. They don't have the mobility, and they don't have even the damage, I think, to commit to a kill. And again, look at LGD's position. All 5 of them huddling around very close together. Even if CDEC were able to eliminate a support early on in the fight, I'm not sure how effective that would be. Unless they have the Earthshaker.
They have the Diffusal Blade down, Aggressive.
His Blink down, actually.
They spoke with this. They're going to commit the Echoes for Sylar, but isn't really enough. They've stolen the Enchant Totem, not the ideal spell from a Y, but they managed to blow up Sylar. At the very least, still Shiki getting smacked down by Aggressive, and the Earthshaker will survive, so they get the pick on the Gyrocopter.
It was nice and swift. CDEC overcommitted to the Gyrocopter as they should have. If they Glimmer plus Cold
Not done
Embrace...
yet.
Oh no.
Maybe he's going back in, finds the Shackle, lays into Aggressive. Splinter Blast coming through the charge, interrupted. No, Aggressive manages to doppelganger, tries to retreat out, turns to fight on Maybe. Is he going to be able to find the real one? No, he's not. Aggressive in a hail of spears brings him down. And elsewhere, XC continues pursuit, trying to hunt down RTK. They also lost the Rubik. Clicking forward. Shiki's going to go for this. Looks like the Shadow String might be enough. Surging and juking LGD. Looking for DDC as well, who glimmers, runs away, but he got pinged. Looks like they barely saw him. Not sure, guess not. He will make it out. Still, they get 3, they almost get a 4th, and they take some of that prize momentum away from LGD.
Yeah, that was really good how they just threw everything they had at the gyrocopter, though. There was no Cold Embrace Glimmer Cape save, and the Winter's Curse actually came out after the gyrocopter already had fallen.
What a very slow game as far as the kills go, Ben. Only 6-6, which makes every little kill you see so much more important. Makes a big difference here. Delaying Sylar's BKB as it looks to be, preventing maybe from getting towards that next big item. RTK did manage to put together a blink though, and he is now level 11, about to get that level 2 wall once he hits 12, and then things may get trickier. Something, also worth mentioning is obviously with a PL in the game, the Darkseer could play a huge role.
And we see LGD commit to an early gem at this point, which kind of coincides with what they've been trying to do and pick smart fights. And they realize that if they keep running around as 5, they're going to lose out in farm because of the blink and the doppelganger from Phantom Laser. They're not going to really be able to kill their split pushers, whereas CDEC can kill their split pushers with Spirit Breaker and the same mobility from their other 2 cores. So it's important that they are able to farm out alone, and they'll feel safe if there are no observer wards cleared out by the gem.
LGD definitely don't feel too safe now. 4 heroes clumped up mid, just hugging and playing defensively. Maybe he's going to see an opportunity to try to sneak bottom. Nope, has a second thought about it. We'll back off. But it's CDEC who are spreading the map now. So kind of a switcheroo from what happened the past 10 minutes or so. All just due to that one fight.
Yeah, the Echo was having the Blink Echo just not giving enough time for LGD to prepare.
And that was the Blink reveal, by the way. He had not showed it before that, so pretty big time to get it out. And Q, kind of true to his Visage form, as I mentioned. He generally goes for more of the utility items on the Visage, less of the carry, Aghanim's, Solar Crest into AC. So he grabs the mech for now. Just looking to bolster their team fight and match RTK. But the familiars do their work. They take down the tier 1 mid at long last. CDEC have been just struggling to bring this bulwark down, but at long last it does fall. At the same moment, Sylar grabs his BKB. Do LGD feel any desire to fight on the back of this?
I mean, they can play it one of 2 ways. They can just get Sylar nice and big, but they can also team fight with the gyrocopter. Now that he has BKB, he shouldn't die if DDC is in a good position. So DDC is priority number 1. Like if you see Rubik, if you see their entire team, you just hone in on the Winter Wyvern and blow them up with like a Blink Echo and a Sonic Wave, and then after that, you can commit to the other heroes.
Especially now that he's carried the gem. That's just a double helping of goodness if CDEC can find.
Well, no one else can save him. I guess there's like a mech from Darkseer, but that's it. The counter with Cold Embrace and Glimmer and Winter's Curse is just huge. It's too much to ignore.
He's relatively easy to kill and hugely important to bring down, as they are going to find Sylar on the back of the double familiar zone. They look to blow him up, throwing up the Sonic Wave. He hangs on for now. He still can't get up that damn BKB, but finally he does. Turns and lays into Garter. Cheeky trying to focus on Maybe, who got a Shacklement to bring down the Earthshaker. Sylar surviving through it. Oh, it's up to Aggressive to turn this fight around. Gets off the purge, looking for the lances, getting shut down. Maybe barely brings him down. Somehow they managed to turn the fight back a little bit, but the gem survives and DDC snakes away. So they don't lose either of their carries, Ben, whereas LGD do lose the Wind Ranger, but still a 3-for-2, numerically favoring LGD.
Sylar was also really close to dying. I think that that was so close. They actually had that even planned out. They're like, okay, we're gonna blink and echo, and we're gonna try and fissure DDC. And DDC was like kind of like at the bottom of the cliff and didn't actually get hit by the fissure. And with that fissure stun on DDC, they would have like immediately wiped out Sylar.
Here might be a tool to deal with the Wyvern, who turned that fight around in a big way. Get the Orchid now, and there's
he needs
nothing to deal with that.
Blink, I suppose, maybe on DDC, or they just need Blink on like Darkseer so they can counter with a Blink vacuum wall, so that they can stop the chain stun from the Earthshaker and allow Gyro to pop his BKB. But they have to stop the chain stun somehow, or have a Cold Embrace plus Glimmer Cape. But
I mean, that was just like the sickest ideal way to start the fight, where you get the double familiar stun before the Blink Echo, so you know you can commit into it. Maybe not something they can always count on.
Yeah, but that's what CDEC are looking for now. They're looking for the Winter Wyvern. So somebody else has to step up and play. Somebody else has to save Siler from these jumps. Or alternatively, LGD get the jump on CDEC, but that hasn't really been happening because of their somewhat passive playstyle.
Well, MMY now up to 1,800 gold. Maybe you could go for a 4-staff, though generally we would see the Blink. But even a Blink could be huge here, potentially stealing that Queen of Pain ult, the Fissure.
I still think it's more on ROTK. ROTK can vacuum the Earthshaker away from the Gyrocopter, and that should buy enough time for him to pop his BKB, because
Look at this.
Blink Dagger and PL. It's not bad.
Yeah, so you think it's mostly on ROTK?
Yeah, I think it's mostly on ROTK to salvage the fights for LGD. Now that Winter Wyvern has proven to be the super important factor that just makes or breaks Siler. You have to have multiple redundancies in order to save Gyro, and without a stacked Gyro, you're unlikely to win the game because Wind Ranger is simply not that great of a carry versus the Phantom Lancer.
So what do you think of the Blink Lancer? This is, I'm sure, an incredibly uncommon item on PL. I've hardly ever seen it.
I mean, he can go in and cause a lot of havoc in a fight. They can't really focus him down that well. Like, let's say he blinks in and juxtaposes and Manta styles on one of the supports. Like, what are they realistically going to do? Like, you can't really shackle. There's going to be 5 illusions there minimum, or 5 heroes there minimum. You could vacuum wall. That's also not really that great. Rubik lift, single target. Gyrocopter can start flanking them down, but by that time, the horde of CDEC heroes are going to come in and destroy your heroes that don't have BKB, which is everyone aside from Gyro.
And as we saw last fight, there's no guarantee he gets it off early.
Yeah, so CDEC are looking for other ways to start off the fight. You have Spirit Breaker kind of, but he's unreliable because he doesn't have a BKB, and there's a Rubik on the other side. Earthshaker, somewhat unreliable if you can't keep track of the Winter Wyvern, so now they're starting off with a different way. They have the Orchid on the Queen of Pain with a Blink BKB, and now the Blink Dagger on the Phantom Lancer. Also, it'll just help with him split pushing.
All right, another smoke from LGD. These teams perpetually just chewing through them as soon as they become available and looking for those jumps. Maybe find Q here, but he is only a support Visage. I'd love to get something bigger. Familiars stalking over where LGD are. They don't know it, but they're in a decent position to cause problems. They're going to cut the wave a little bit, killing off the range creep. CDEC backing off. Clearly sensing something is up, and now Shiki says, screw it, I'm out. Hasted and blinks away. Well, so do they try to take this Roche? Can they risk it?
Well, they are scouted out by the Observer Ward. But from their point of view, they have, Visage Familiar to scout, but also Aggressive has been very, he's been sending out his illusions constantly. Manta illusions, Juxtapose illusions, just scouting out Roshan, and of course the Visage Familiar is trying to keep track of LGD's positioning. So I don't think there's a way they can sneak it. I don't think they have a Solar Crest on their side, and really no minus armor at all. Maybe once Wind Ranger picks up her next item, they can do Roche quickly enough so that CDEC can't respond.
Now LGD are back to 5-manning again after that failed smoke gank. CDEC also clustering up a bit, a little more spread out, but Shiki's going to join the team, and it might be their turn to go for a smoke. No, none of their inventories currently, so I guess they just want to work together down this bottom lane. Familiars once more in position. You mentioned the scouting, the illusions. The Familiars have also been all over the place, really giving them that extra bit of intel. Something LGD, they don't really have. They don't have a great scouting tool aside from, I guess, the power shot. And this bottom tower might become the destination. Okay, now they smoke, and they will move. Let's see where they want to head. XC, down the ramp, around towards mid, thinking about it. Where do they want to go?
Aggressive has been doing a really good job of staying alive in the fights and making sure that he can be the one that cleans up at the very, very end. So as long as he continues to do that, and I think the Blink Dagger kind of aligns with that, then they should be perfectly okay come team fight time.
Oh, they got a big ward down for the smoke gank, potentially. Let's see, Aggressive poking illusions out now. They're going to get scouted. And with those, I think the Familiars, yet also those scouted. LGD pretty much know what's up. And CDEC 2 will back off on another failed smoke gank. These teams have just not been able to catch each other very well.
Going into the right side is just asking to die. You're going to file into that choke in. You don't know if they have a reserve reward up there, so CDEC definitely should not have gone into that right side.
Yeah, it's just a testament to the map awareness of both teams that they just can't get the jump on each other.
Yeah, it's the positioning is like really, really important for both teams. Like I think CDEC even have to be a little bit more careful because of the vacuum that can pull them in from seemingly good positioning.
Yeah, and the only thing CDEC really have is that echo, but it's not as easy to set up. Maybe to club hold after.
I mean, they've been winning fights with one-man echoes, so like if they club up, fights are going to be way worse.
Yeah, that's for sure. So they're going to show aggressive over towards the mid lane. Familiars are going to scout out LGD now. A little karate chop from RTK. Looking for the familiar stuns. They do get them. Fissure was used as well, but they may lose these familiars. Resummon available.
But now they can't really TP in to defend mid. If they TP in, they're just going to get slaughtered one by one. So now they just kind of have to give that tower up for free.
XC, he's expecting this rotation. The glyph is forced out now. The PL illusion stacking up. A very big objective here. It's been a slow and steady game. Fissure looking to cut off LGD, separate them. No, decides not to. They're content with the tower mid.
That was a really risky position by the Earthshaker. If, let's say, like Winter Wyvern had gone to fly over and scout a little bit, he would have been dead. Or a Wind Ranger power shot, which happened a little later on.
He did have the ward though near the river, so XC saw quite a bit of the movement.
Don't they have a jump though? Yeah, they do. They weren't able to see that ward.
Scout it.
Yeah, it's a good ward.
They've actually been able to keep the wards up despite the gem. I think just because LGD are so scared about getting on the map.
Okay, so we see Medallion pick up by Darkseer. They want to try and stake in Roche with Wind Ranger and Gyro. I think they have enough damage with the Focus Fire.
Will Aggressive stay disciplined with the scouting? Hard to do it when you're back at the well.
DDC still didn't scout out this ward. I think he can see it during daytime, but he is a little bit too far right on the camp.
It's just like right in that little nook that he can't quite see. And now the familiars are going to reveal that LGD are up to something mischievous. They are in the pit. And Aggressive, like a bloodhound, is going to hone in. Wants to get aggressive here. How appropriate. Moving in with illusions now to keep the scouting. And LGD are going to have none of it. They only want to sneak. They do not want to take that 5v5 fight, at least not while they're in the pit. But he's getting big now. He gets the Reaver.
Neither team really has split push pressure, which is, where the analysts think that Anti-Mage might have been a better pick, but it's not really what CDEC plays because you don't have the option of 5-man early. But it's been that sort of game where having the side lane pressure and then having to disperse as a 5-man group and just losing out on farm and towers would have been much more favorable to these teams.
They're afraid of these familiar stuns. Sylar, gotta be careful. They're cooling down in 5 seconds, and CDEC are moving forward. No dire vision into that woods. But then they say, not now. And LGD come back. Just the ping pong here, Ben.
CDEC actually need a gem.
Nobody's scoring points.
They need a gem fairly soon on CDEC because of the massive 5-on-5 man. It's probably like 80% positioning and the first jump when it comes to these sort of team fights. And having a gem like that to take down Observer Ward is crucial.
Well, they might not have an anti-mage, but they're still going to try to accomplish it with the Blink Phantom Lancer.
He's pretty much an anti-mage.
He's got Mana Burn, he's got illusions. He's got a Blink. Yeah. Just maybe missing the cooldowns. But RTK will get caught out here. Ran right into the mid lane. This could be terrible. Aggressive. Doppelganger. He ends up on the high ground as well. He's going to charge forward. He runs at LGD, and they just get turned and scared, and RTK will get beaten down from behind. Aggressive just laughs in the faces of LGD. That was after a game of quiet Dota for like 15 minutes, that was one of the biggest picks you could hope for.
Yeah, but now CDEC just, I think, head into Roche very, very soon. Without the Darkseer, like much of their combo is actually gone. They do need to de-ward. I don't know if they have any sentry wards on them, though. Oh, looks like they picked up a gem on Q.
No, they want that additional objective first. And they're going to force out the RTK buyback. A big win now for CDEC already as the illusions lay into the tower with familiars together. They will bring it down, ramping up their map control a bit, and the gem is online for the Visage, as mentioned, so this will allow them to try and secure a little more map control. Likely going to find this Observer Ward in the Radiant Woods soon. It's amazing how much just one kill in a game like this can actually do.
With Heart coming out soon on PL, though, I don't know if LGD have the damage. They haven't really been scaling that well.
RTK, he just bought back. He cannot afford to get caught now. And LGD are going to smoke. RTK up in front. Doppelganger back from aggressive. Garter into the trees. Familiars into the lane. They might reveal what's coming. Rexy could get called out here. It's Q who gets scouted first. He's the gem carrier. Fissure gets dropped. Looking for the retreat, but there's the blink, the shackle, as well as the lift. Everything for Q. And the gem will be a donation back to LGD. That was not held for very long.
And now they can sneak in a rush.
Well, that definitely makes the buyback worth it if they get it.
Yeah, these smokes are just...
Are they not going?
I mean, maybe they're scared of...
Another blink, maybe pressing forward, but there are a lot of PLs here. Potentially the wall gets dropped. Aggressive gonna back out. They quickly clear the illusion. Cheeky from the side though, focusing on the support. Skarner charging in, backing out Cheeky BKB, and he'll blink away. Heads back to the east to try and retreat maybe. Looking for the shackle power shots one way. It is nighttime. I don't think he saw him around in the trees. Another blink from Cheeky. Oh, gonna be able to dodge out. That was daytime. That's probably a dead Queen of Pain. And now Aggressive will officially complete the heart. And KP up on the gyro, so, well, Ben, you wanted damage. They're starting to get it now.
And they have a good ward down without the gem available to CDEC. So now their ability to maneuver is just... I don't really know where they can really move around the map and catch LGD by surprise.
Let's see if our Blink Lancer has anything to say about that. For now, he's focusing on mid. The pings begin to come out. Familiars are down in the river. Roche dropping low. Do CDEC want to make their way in? They are TPing the Shaker, but it looks like it'll be a bit late to the party. No illusions there yet, and Aegis is claimed. CDEC are just going to try to counter push, but they are not looking for a fight, at least not now. Aggressive does have to be a bit careful. And
yeah, now I think you just played a split push game with Phantom Lancer. The only catch that they really have is probably like Glimmer Cape into Winter's Curse.
Oh, Aggressive. Back to the top lane, so like you said, split push is the way that CDEC are looking to go.
I mean, you can't fight into the Aegis at this point unless you get the perfect Echo Slam, but LGD have been very wary of leaving that opening there. So, yeah, just get Phantom Lancer to push out all the lanes and just be super annoying, always throwing down on supports. And they still don't have good clear for the illusions at all.
Is it time for Boots of Travel on the PL? Is that just the way the game's going, where he needs that extra mobility?
I think so, but once you already come into the treads, you have to, generally swap out the BOTs as your 6th item instead of your 5th.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe,
Butterfly maybe not that great because of Gyro's MKB, but
there's Scotty is the other big one we often...
I mean, he could also just go damage and go for
like Abyssal Blade even.
Abyssal or MKB of his own. If he really wants to kill the Wind Ranger.
On CDEC. Are they looking for the fight here? They are charging Sylar. Aggressive, the first man in. Sylar going to deploy the BKB and the cooldown, and he's really committing for this, but the backup's not there. The CDC has a blink. He drops the curses on Cheeky, and Aggressive will make short work of his Queen of Pain, who has no buyback. Now he's trying to fight into the entirety of the LGD squad. They haven't even cracked the Aegis just yet. He still keeps on going. Still focused on Sylar. Now decides to run. Garter just bulldozes through. Coming in fast. They'll finish off DDC. Gem hits the deck. RTK trapped up in the trees. The Aegis has been expended now. Looks like the Phantom Lancer survived and looks to turn it. Sylar, round 2, let's rumble, baby, as Aggressive runs back in, continues to come in, he'll bring down Sylar second time almost. Solar Crest isn't enough, it's not. And again, jumping forward, the bash on RTK, they're gonna get 4, as well as the Aegis. CDEC, known for their incredible fighting prowess, pull it off again. Aegis or no Aegis.
Impressive play by Aggressive. He knows that he has to, bait out a lot of the spells, get the positioning of the supports, and he goes in on the gyro. He's like, do you have an Aegis? I don't really care. I don't think you can kill me. And they have so much lockdown for him, even through the BKB. And that was actually crazy how much damage Aggressive did during that fight.
I think one of the defining characteristics of this team is how willing they are to take fights that other teams wouldn't. They're just not, they don't get scared. Like, there's an Aegis there, but if they see an opportunity, they will go for it.
That was even with a pretty nice Winter's Curse. They used it on the Queen of Pain. They caught the
PL killed the Queen of Pain at the start of the fight. And didn't even have the buyback there, but it ends up working out quite well in the end.
But still, just not a good way to deal with this massive amount of fancy.
Bottom lane, they've caught out maybe with the fissure. Can they follow this up? Cheeky's in position as well. The familiars go to work. There's the charge, and they are going to lose a Wind Ranger. Another big grab as CDEC sees momentum. They also took down the tier 2 while that was happening. They're right back in this game, and in fact, it seems like they're in the driver's seat.
So what do LGD have to do now? They consistently realize that, okay, Phantom Lancer, once he has illusions out, we don't want to blow our big ultimates, but people are going to die if we don't. So I don't know. I don't think that gyrocopter is like big enough relative to the PL. You need to be like a few thousand net worth ahead just because of Flat Cannon being on a 30-second cooldown. And on top of that, he was locked in Cold Embrace and unable to really deal damage to the illusions, especially with Phantom Lancer going for this kind of anti-magic build. There's like
just the raw HP basically.
It's not going to work. The like Splitter Shards plus Ion Shell is just not enough.
He truly is becoming anti-mage, going the anti-magic, so getting the Blink Dagger, has the Mana Burn, the illusions. This is, I mean, maybe they just should have drafted it, but it's working here for Aggressive. Gets the ultimate orb now. Looks like the Scotty might be that next choice. We'll see though, some other options here if he wants to consider them. As CDEC clear out a small Ancient stack. Unfortunately for them, there is no Roche for some time, but they get the tier 2 bottom. They have fully wiped the LGD map of any towers outside the base. And LGD are not looking to leave that base anytime soon. Just 5 heroes camping out mid. Now, Ben, they are a great high ground lineup. It's very scary to push into this.
Yeah, but they also need to come outside of their base, or else Phantom Lancer's just going to overtake the gyrocopter.
He forced his way in here. He got a 2-hero fissure through the trees. The Familiar's coming in aggressive. Blinks forward with a lot of confidence. Wants to go, but they curse him. Where's the follow for this RTK? He gets silenced. He hasn't cast a thing. He cleanses it. Vacuum wall, but aggressive just fights his way through it. Shaky on the backline, bringing down Momoya. And now they turn back for Sylar. There's the bat. That's what the doctor orders. CDEC continue to pummel him. Sylar down again. 4 have fallen. CDEC, flawless in their execution down the stretch, are now looking to break the base. There are only 2 buybacks.
Aggressive again. Just unkillable at this point. He runs in Gyro BKB's Pause Flag, and he gets solo Winter's Curse, and they're throwing everything they can at him, but can't even drop him below half in this fight.
It seems like this build just counters the combo. He's just too tanky to die to it. Aggressive now, jumping forward, driving them back. They force out the buybacks here. 2 now expended by LGD, but Aggressive says, screw it, man, they can't touch me. I'm not afraid. He'll bring down the creeps. He'll start working again on the melee racks, hacking away. The team's not even remotely close. They're going to come back here, but they hardly need to protect their bold carry player. Again, throwing out illusions. LGD forced back more and more. There's the Shackle. They're going to commit now with the call down as well. They have a good amount of firepower, but isn't enough. He's still alive. Cheeky jumping forward. He gets the kill. Momoya has to die back for the Rubik, and now chases for more. Aggressive is slaughtering them under the tier 4s. Keeps on going on Arcade. The back. My God, they could use a wall, but they just don't have it. This PL will die. He still survives through it. Finally goes down, but has the buyback ready. Doesn't have the BOT gold, but he's just going to look to run down mid and rejoin the fight as maybe works on Q. LGD, the lone survivor, does manage to get a kill in the Visage. Jumping forward as the Earthshaker runs up the ramp. Turns, Fissure, as he trapped him in. Looks like he has just a death cage for maybe. He'll fall as well. 5 dead. 2 of them diebacks. And this might be a late of Rex. It is going to be a late of Rex, looks like, if not the game.
Are under attack.
Yep, I think that's pretty much game. And LGD thought they would be okay as long as they withstood the first couple of smokes, and I can't really fault them for that. They thought that Gyrocopter would have enough damage to deal with Phantom Lancer if he went like a normal, maybe butterfly build, I suppose, but with the heart instead of the butterfly, there is just no way they can kill him.
And that, Manta tried to dodge that Shackle, does get landslide, but there's no follow-up XC. Flanking forward, finds the angle for the 2-hero fissure. Another easy grab. See that. Once they found that one good fight, they just cracked the game open like a bottle of champagne, and they simply haven't looked back. They take 1 lane of Rex, they look for 2. Game 1, more and more, feeling like it's theirs to lose. Aggressive, Shackle not going to connect, they silence maybe. He charges in, maybe in a lot of trouble. GG! LGD get bested in the late game. CDEC again showing that miraculous poise under pressure. This team just does not falter.
I think that XZ actually played extremely well on the Earthshaker. Like his fissures, his first play with his Blink Dagger, it just completely set LGD off every single fight. They were like always one step behind CDEC's team fight.
Well, smiles in the booth as